ECG is electrocardiogram. Electrocardiograph is nothing but a machine. It's a machine or instrument which gives us electrocardiogram. Okay, now what is electrocardiogram? It is a graphical representation of electrical activity of heart during each cardiac cycle. Okay, so as we know that our heart is myogenic, it generates its own signal by virtue of its conducting pathway, okay, or nodal tissue. Okay, so what is there in conducting pathway? There is SA node, then AV node, then bundle of His, then we have bundle branches, and lastly small thread like structures called as Purkinje fibers. Okay, so SA node generates the signal, that is why it is called as pacemaker. Pacemaker, very important. Okay, but this speed or pace is further stabilized or set by AVN, so that is why it is called as pace setter. Okay, so what is ECG? Electrocardiogram is a graphical representation of electrical activity of heart during each cardiac cycle. Okay, so what happens in ECG, how this instrument or machine works? So a person is connected to the machine like this, okay, via electrodes. Okay, so 4 electrodes or 4 leads you see are connected to the limbs. Okay, these are the limb electrodes. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 limb electrodes. Then there are 6 leads or 6 electrodes you can see on the chest region, near heart region. Okay, so these are chest electrodes. Okay, then a gel is applied. Okay, a gel is applied which acts as electrolyte, okay, which recognizes the signals, electrical signals, and send it to the machine. Yes, so we get ECG like this. Okay, we know that one cardiac cycle lasts for 0.8 seconds. Okay, so within these 0.8 seconds, how heart's electrical activity is recognized? So we get total 3 waves here. Okay, the first wave you see is a P wave. Okay, this is a P wave. P wave shows or represents the excitation of atria. Okay, so it results into or represents atrial depolarization. Then we have these 3 waves. First is QRS. Okay, so this QRS waves, we call them QRS complex. Okay, so QRS complex is made up of 3 waves. Okay, Q wave, R and S wave. This QRS complex represents ventricular depolarization. That means excitation of ventricles or contraction of ventricles. Okay, then there is a short wave called as P wave. This P wave represents the ventricular repolarization. Okay, repolarization, that is relaxation of both the ventricles. Okay, so at the end of this P wave, okay, so from this 0 second to 0.8 seconds, yes, this is a time period of one cardiac cycle. Okay, so at the end of P wave is nothing but end of one cardiac cycle. Okay, as you can see, there is no wave. Okay, there is no wave for atrial repolarization. Okay, so there is no visible wave in the graph for atrial repolarization. Very important. There is wave, but we can't see it. It is behind. These QRS complexes are very much visible to us. Okay, yes. So QRS complexes per minute. Yes. So by calculating QRS complexes per minute, we can calculate the heart rate. Okay, या फिर we can also count the QRS complexes in an ECG. Yes. So any abnormality in this ECG should be further diagnosed, because this is a preliminary test. Okay, it just talks about the electrical activity, whether the heart chambers are properly contracted or relaxed. That's it.